Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome to today's reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. We're reading from Adi Lila at the moment, and we'll be beginning chapter 3 today. Mukam Karuti Vachalam Pangum Langhaite Girim Kripatamham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. Chapter 3, verse 1. I offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. By the potency of the shelter of his lotus feet, even a fool can collect the valuable jewels of conclusive truth from the minds of the revealed scriptures. Verse 2. All glories to Lord Chaitanya, all glories to Lord Nityananda, all glories to Advaita Chandra, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. This is the Panchtattva mantra. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda, Jai Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Verse 3. I have given the purport of the third verse. Now, O devotees, please listen to the meaning of the fourth with full attention. Verse 4. May the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Shachi Devi, be transcendently situated in the innermost core of your heart, resplendent with the radiance of molten gold. He has descended in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow that no incarnation has ever offered before. The most elevated mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. Purport. This is quotation from Vidagd Madhav 1.2, a drama compiled and edited by Srila Rupa Goswami. Verse 5. Lord Krishna, the son of the king of Raja, is the Supreme Lord. He eternally enjoys transcendental pastimes in his eternal abode Goloka, which includes Rajadham. Purport. In the previous chapter, it has been established that Krishna, the son of Rajendra, the king of Raja, is the supreme personality of Godhead. With 6 opulences, he eternally enjoys transcendentally variegated opulences on his planet, which is known as Goloka. The eternal pastimes of the Lord in the spiritual planet Krishna Loka are called aprakat or unmanifested pastimes because they are beyond the purview of the conditioned souls. Lord Krishna is always present everywhere, but when he is not present before your eyes, he is said to be aprakat or unmanifested. Verse 6. Once in a day of Brahma, he descends to this world to manifest his transcendental pastimes. Verse 7. We know that there are 4 ages or yugas, namely Satya, Treta, Dwapar and Kali. These 4 together constitute one Divya Yuga. Verse 8. 71 Divya Yugas constitute one Manvantara. There are 14 Manvantaras in one day of Brahma. Purport. A Manvantara is the period controlled by one Manu. The reign of 14 Manus equals the length of one day, 12 hours in the life of Brahma. These calculations are given in the authentic astronomy book known as the Surya Siddhanta. An annotated Bengali translation of this book was compiled by the great professor of astronomy and mathematics Bimal Prasad Datta, later known as Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. Goswami, who was our merciful spiritual master, he was honored with the title Siddhanta Saraswati for translating the Surya Siddhanta, and the title Goswami Maharaj was added when he accepted sannyas, the renounced order of life. Verse 9. The present Manu, who is the 7th, is called Vaivasvata, the son of Vivaswan. 27 Divya Yugas, that is 27 times 4,320,000 solar years of his age have now passed. The names of the 14 Manus are as follows: Swambhuva, Swarochisha, Uttama, Tamasa, Raivata, Chakshusha, Vaivasvata, Savarni, Daksha Savarni, Brahma Savarni, Dharma Savarni, Rudraputra or the Rudra Savarni, Rochya or Deva Savarni, and Bhautyaka or Indra Savarni. Verse 10. At the end of the Dwapar Yuga of the 28th Divya Yuga, Lord Krishna appears on earth with the full paraphernalia of his eternal Vrajadham. Purport: now is the term of Vaivasvata Manu, during which Lord Chaitanya appears. First, Lord Krishna appears at the close of the Dwapar Yuga of the 28th Divya Yuga, and then Lord Chaitanya appears in the Kali Yuga of the same Divya Yuga. Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya appear once in a day of Brahma or once in 14 Manvantaras, each of 71 Divya Yugas in duration, from the beginning of Brahma's day of 4,320,000,000 years. 6 Manus appear and disappear before Lord Krishna appears, thus 1,975,320,000 years of the day of Brahma elapse before the appearance of Lord Krishna. This is an astronomical calculation according to solar years. Verse 11. Servitude, which is Dasya; friendship, which is Sakhya; parental affection, which is Vatsalya; and conjugal love, which is Shringar, are the 4 transcendental mellows or rasas by the devotees who cherish these 4 mellows. Lord Krishna is by the devotees who cherish these 4 mellows, Lord Krishna is subdued. Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya and Shringar are the transcendental modes of loving service to Lord. Shantarasa or neutral stage is not mentioned in this verse because although in Shantarasa one considers the absolute truth, the sublime great, one does not go beyond that conception. Shantaras is very grand idea for materialistic philosophers, but such idealistic appreciation is only the beginning. It is the lowest among the relationships in the spiritual world. Shantarasa is not given much importance because as soon as there is light, is a slight understanding between the knower and the known, active, loving, transcendental reciprocations and exchanges begin. Dasya Rasa is the basic principle between Krishna and his devotees. Therefore, this verse considers Dasya the first stage of transcendental devotional service. Absorbed in such transcendental love, Sri Krishna enjoys in Vraja with his devoted servants, parents, friends and conjugal lovers. Purport: the descent of Sri Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead, is very purposeful. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that one who knows the truth about Sri Krishna's descent and his various activities is at once liberated and does not have to fall again to this existence of birth and death after he leaves his present material body. In other words, one who factually understands Krishna makes his life perfect. Imperfect life is realized in material existence in 5 different relationships we share with everyone within the material world: neutrality, servitorship, friendship, parental love, and amorous love between husband and wife or lover and beloved. These 5 enjoyable relationships within the material world are perverted reflections of relationships with the absolute personality of Godhead in the transcendental nature. That absolute personality, Sri Krishna, descends to revive the 5 eternally existing relationships. Thus, he manifests his transcendental pastimes in Vraja so that people may be attracted into that sphere of activities and leave aside their imitation relationships with the mundane. Then, after fully exhibiting all such activities, the Lord disappears. Verse 13, Lord Krishna enjoys his transcendental pastimes as long as he wishes, and then he disappears after disappearing, however he thinks thus. Verse 14, for a long time I have not bestowed unalloyed loving service to me upon the inhabitants of the world. Without such loving attachment, the existence of the material world is useless. The Lord seldom avoids pure transcendental love, but without such pure love of God, freed from fruitive activities and empiric speculation, one cannot attain perfection in life. Verse 15, everywhere in the world people worship me according to scriptural injunctions, but simply by following such regulative principles, one cannot attain the loving sentiments of the devotees in Vrajbhumi. Verse 16, knowing my opulences, the whole world looks upon me with awe and veneration, but devotion made feeble. Purport, after his appearance, distributed the transcendental personal dealings with his devotees in Dasa, Sakya, Vatsalya and Madhurya. One may understand the science of the Supreme Personality of Godhead from the Vedic literatures and thus become a devotee of the Lord and worship him with the regulative principles described in the scriptures. But one will not know in this way how Krishna is served by the residents of Vrajbhumi. One cannot understand the dealings of the Lord in Vrindavan simply by executing the ritualistic regulative principles mentioned in the scriptures. By following scriptural injunctions, one may enhance his appreciation for the glories of the Lord, but there is no chance for one to enter into personal dealings with him. Giving too much attention to the understanding the exalted glories of the Lord reduces the chance of one's entering into personal loving affairs with the Lord. To teach the principles of such loving affairs, the Lord decided to appear as Lord Chaitanya. But verse 17, by performing such regulated devotional service in awe and veneration, one may go to Vaikuntha and attain the 4 kinds of liberations. Verse 18, these liberations are Sarashti, achieving opulences equal to those of the Lord; Sarupya, having a form the same as the Lord's; Samipya, living as a personal associate of the Lord; and Shalokya, living on the Vaikuntha planet. Devotees never accept Sayujya, however, since that is oneness with Brahman. Purport, those engaged in devotional service according to the ritualistic principles mentioned in the scriptures attain these different kinds of liberation, but although such devotees can attain Sarashti, Sarupya, Samipya and Salokya, they are not concerned with these liberations, for such devotees are satisfied only in rendering transcendental loving service to the Lord. The 5th kind of liberation, Sayujya, is never accepted even by the devotees who perform only ritualistic worship. To attain Sayujya, or merging into the Brahman effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the aspiration of the impersonalists. A devotee never cares for Sayujya liberation. Verse 19, I shall personally inaugurate the religion of the age, Nama Sankirtan, the congregational chanting of the holy name. I shall make the world dance in ecstasy, realizing the 4 mellows of loving devotional service. Verse 20, I shall accept the role of a devotee and I shall teach devotional service by practicing it myself. Purport, when one associates with a pure devotee, he becomes so elevated that he does not aspire even for Sarashti, Sarupya, Samipya and Salokya. Because he feels that such liberation is a kind of sense gratification. Pure devotees do not ask anything from the Lord for their personal benefit. Even if offered personal benefits, pure devotees do not accept them, because their only desire is to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead by transcendental loving service. No one but the Lord himself can teach this highest form of devotional service. Therefore, when the Lord took the place of the incarnation of Kali Yuga to spread the glories of chanting Hare Krishna, the system of worship recommended in this age, he also distributed in the process of devotional service performed on the platform of transcendental spontaneous love. To teach the highest principles of spiritual life, the Lord himself appeared as a devotee in the form of Lord Chaitanya. Verse 21, unless one practices devotional service himself, he cannot teach it to others. This conclusion is indeed confirmed throughout the Gita and Bhagavatam. Verse 22, whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharat, and a predominant rise of religion, at that time I dissent myself. Verse 23, to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. This is the shloka from the Bhagavad Gita. Text 22 and 23 were spoken by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, which follow are also to be found in Bhagavad Gita 3.24 and 21. Verse 24, if I did not show the proper principles of religion, all these worlds would fall into ruin. I would be the cause of unwanted population and would spoil all these living beings. Verse 25, whatever actions a great man performs, common people follow, and whatever standards he set by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. This verse is, yad yad acharati shreshthas tat tad evataro janaha sa yad pramanam kurute lokas tad anuvartate. Verse 26, my plenary portions can establish the principles of religion for each age. No one but me, however, can bestow the kind of loving service performed by the residents of Braja. Verse 27, there may be many all auspicious incarnations of the personality of Godhead, but who other than Lord Krishna can bestow love of God upon the surrendered souls? Purport. This quotation is from the writings of Vilmanga Thakur, found in the Lagu Bhagavatamrita 1.5.37. Verse 28, therefore in the company of my devotees I shall appear on earth and perform various colorful pastimes. So we will continue our reading from verse 29 of chapter 3, the Adi Lila, next time. Thank you for joining. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.